Hello, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about my stent that I had placed on March 10th, 2020, and how I'm doing and things that I noticed during recovery, etc. So we'll start with the stent. I have a video about that down below, about getting my stent and my experience and my angiogram before that and why we got my stent and all that. So I'm just going to briefly summarize. Basically, I have stenosis, which is just a fancy word for pinching of the transverse sinuses, which are areas in the back of your head, like slightly behind your ears, that go down your neck. They lead down your neck, and that drains fluid that goes into your brain. So the fluid that goes to your brain is blood and spinal fluid. So the spinal fluid helps keep your brain floating so it's not touching your skull, and then you have blood that pumps to the brain. If you have too much fluid, with the pumping of your brain, it can wear down your skull. It can cause strokes, it can cause seizures, it can cause blindness, all sorts of stuff. So part of the reason why we did my angiogram is because I was having inflamed optic nerves, which meant it's called papilledema, if I'm saying it right, which basically means my peripheral vision was getting smaller. My vision's getting darker, and if I didn't get treatment, I was at risk of permanent damage. So my stent wasn't an emergency, but it was gearing up to that because none of the other treatments, such as medications, had been working. And the medication I had been on was Diamox, and that was for like 5-ish, 6 months-ish. And that did not, I think I noticed small improvements, but it didn't stick. Like, I never had permanent improvement of my optic nerve, and it never completely went away. So I chose personally to do the angiogram when I did, and it worked out because less than a few weeks later, it got worse. My vision was blacking out again. Diamox wasn't working, pressure headaches. For me, I would get a pressure headache here, and it would go down my neck, and my shoulders would stiffen up. All this would hurt, and nothing you can take relieves that pressure. So we did the stent on March 10th because we already knew where the stenosis was, which your transverse sinuses, like I said, are like right behind your ear, and they lead, that's exactly where the fluid drains. So both sides of my brain had stenosis. And so we actually stented my left side, which was my worst side. You're supposed to have a pressure of 20 in your brain. Before the stenosis, mine was at 40, and then after, I think it was like 14, it was like a really crazy differential. That's again in the video that I'll have linked below. And so we knew I needed a stent to help get more of the fluid out because I was having a backup of fluid basically. So we did the stent. I had some small complications, which it was like bleeding out. I had panicked after I woke up from the medicine that put me down. I forget what it's called. And I freaked out when I woke up, I had a panic attack, and I was kicking, and I opened the artery that they had to access to get to the stent. So I had, well, no matter what, I was gonna have to stay in the ICU, but I had to be like confined into bed during the ICU. They wanted to make sure it didn't leak. They kept me on blood thinners. I had to have machines that would like pump on my legs and my arms to keep like my blood flowing because I couldn't move. That was that whole experience linked below. And so finally, after I was able to go home, I noticed, I noticed immediate relief as far as like I didn't have pressure headaches. I noticed very like suddenly, it didn't happen like overnight, but every day I noticed my vision was a little bit better. One of the things I wasn't expecting was like low light vision to come back as quick as it did. If like lights are off in a room and like a window's open, I could see like the moonlight, which is weird because before like any low light would be just black to me. I couldn't see anything. So I noticed that pretty much immediately. Sleeping was kind of weird because you are sore after you have your stent. You'll have like a little lingering headache. For me, Tylenol helped. I just took Tylenol morning and night, and for the first couple weeks, that's what I did, and then it went away, and it didn't need it as much. But I noticed when you sneeze or cough, which I have a respiratory disease, so I do both pretty frequently, I could feel where my stent is. It's been a couple months since that, and I no longer really notice that anymore. I also noticed soon after the surgery when I would lay down, I could feel like a rushing feeling is like the best way to describe it. It kind of felt like I could feel the fluid draining where it wouldn't normally drain. So like the first couple of, like probably the week after I had it, I was very like aware of where my stent was and how like, and I could hear almost like the fluid draining and feel it. It almost felt like not a pulsing, like a flushing feeling. I don't know how else to describe it. If you've had a stent, you know what I mean. If you're gonna get one, it's not painful. It's just you're just more aware of what's happening, probably because your body didn't do it before and you're just getting used to the change. If I laid on my left side, I could hear and feel it more so. Again, it didn't hurt, it just was kind of freaky. So I usually laid on my right side and I didn't notice it as much. I'm trying to think what else. I did notice this last month. So for me, my pressure headaches would always shoot up when it was that time of the month, whenever I had my period. So after I had my stent, the first 2 months after, or first 2 periods I had after my stent, I had pressure headaches come back. The first one was brutal. I was kind of worried that like every time I had my period, I was gonna just be in pain for a week and then be normal, which again, better than before my stent. So no matter what, still progress. Then when I had my second period, it was actually better. It didn't hurt as much, and it only lasted like 2 days. And then the third time, I didn't have any pressure headaches, but I had neck pain. Like I could feel where my stent was and I could feel there was like pain in my neck. And that lasted like almost a month. It just went away this last week, which perfect timing because this last week I also saw my ophthalmologist and my optic nerves are perfect. They're no longer inflamed. My vision has improved actually. I was able to test 20/20 vision without my glasses. I forgot to bring them, which before that would have never happened. My peripheral vision was perfect. Before my stent, I had tiny little blind spots above your natural blind spots because everybody has natural blind spots. I had other little blind spots right above it. Those went away. I have perfect vision, way better than what it was before my stent. So it definitely worked. And then my neck pain went away. So I finally, just 2 days ago, was able to start tapering off Diamox. Ideally, I would have started tapering off Diamox sooner. Right after my stent, I did drop from 2,000 milligrams a day to 1,000, 1 pill morning and night. And so now, a couple days ago, we now have it where I'm taking 500 milligrams. So 1 pill in the morning and nothing at night. And so if right now I'm actually feeling pretty good. Yesterday and the day before, I did notice like a lingering headache is the best way to describe it on my left side from like here, like to here. It was kind of like I could feel like a fluid. I don't know if that's really what it was, but that's the best way I could describe it. Really, really minor. I took Tylenol last night. It actually helped. So I really don't know if it was a pressure headache. And I did start my period today. So it could all be combined. But considering I started today, I actually feel really, really good. This morning I woke up, I had a small little headache, I drank some coffee, and I feel fine. I didn't even need to take Tylenol today. I feel great. So that's that. I'm hoping if this month I go great and by the time I can see my ophthalmologist again, I make sure my optic nerves are still good. We're gonna try to take me off of Diamox, which I'm really, really excited about. There is still a chance that in the future I may need to stent my right side. My surgeon loves to remind me. Because it's not like my stent would fail. It's just that I still have really bad pinching on this side. So likely if I start to notice vision issues or I start to notice a rise in pressure headaches, I might need to do a repeat angiogram to see if this side has gotten worse, and make sure I see if I need to stent this side. But he's thinking that would be like at least 5 years like down the line. Of course, if I like get pregnant or anything like that where there's a big major hormone changes, that could totally affect my pressure and would probably require, not during pregnancy, but after, to stent the side because those hormones can cause issues. For me, my surgeon believes I was probably born with these stenosis areas, but pregnancy might have amplified it. my son closed his door and now he wants it open, but he doesn't know how to open it. So I don't know why he closes it. Why did you close it? Hi. Why did you close it? Oh, you want to eat? Okay, let's go. Okay, well, that's about it. So let me know if you have any other questions about my stent, and I will let you know my answer if I have an answer. And if anything, I can make another video and I can talk about it. So hopefully in a couple months, if I can taper off of Diamox, expect another video, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.